Hey guys, good day. In this video, we are going to learn how to add a JavaScript event to our HTML attributes. So before we dig into the different types of events, let's just create first the HTML file, and then here you can just do let's just add a header and then open it in our browser. So there's an extra, let's remove this one. So now to add an event to HTML element, we can use the different HTML event attributes. So for example, the on-click event, we have this one. So this will be triggered, or the function that we set inside this will be triggered once we click on this element. So let's just say trigger click function. So now inside our body, let's create this script tag. Then here let's define this function. So currently, if we open the console and then refresh, so currently as you can see here, trigger click is not defined, so we need to define the function. And then here we refresh, so as you can see, the error is gone. So let's just alert or console or show a message. Element is click. So here, as you can see, the function is triggered. So let's continue the different, or discuss the different type of events in JavaScript. So we have the window event attributes. So basically, these events here are for our window or the body tag. So we need to set this one inside the body attribute. So inside our body. So let's just remove this one, and then here let's try to try some of these events or attributes. So the most common is the onload. So if we the onload event will just it fires after the page is finished loading. So to implement that one in our page, just need to type the onload and then here the name of the function. So the same thing with what we did in the on-click events. Then here we need to type in the name of the function. So trigger onload function. Then here you can just let's just refresh. As you can see, we have the error since we haven't defined the function yet. So let's try to define, and here if we refresh, error is gone, and then we can just flag error, page finished loading. As you can say here, you can add this, which refers to the body element. Then here you can just capture this, use it as an argument or parameter inside the trigger onload function, and you can now log the body element, so you can see different properties or functions methods of this element. So as you can see here, there are different events, I mean attributes, and also um, functions of the window element or window object. So since this is a body, this is a window object, so we can grab the title of the body, so it's undefined, that so this should be a window, not it's a global variable. I'm sorry about that one, but to get the title of the document, you just need to do the document. So this is a global variable, and then title. So here, if we flag that one, this will return the document, since this is the title of the document. So let's say event. If we refresh, you can see it will return the event. So for this one, this is for the body. If we log this body or window document, you can see here we can have different properties. So here's the width of the screen. So if we can use or capture or get the width of the screen using the trigger on load. So if we refresh, you can see the current one is 620. If we resize and then refresh, now it's 424. Refresh, it's now 927. So another event that we can use is the on resize. So it fires when the browser window is resized. So most of the time we use this one if we want to change the styling of an element if the browser or the window size is small. So especially if you are going to update the style of the page when it loads to smaller devices like phones or tablets. So to add that, you can use the on resize. So trigger resize. So let's just print a message here on load finish. So if we refresh and then if we resize, as you can see, it returns an error. So we'll just add this function and then resizing. So if you resize, you can see it returns the message that means it's successful. Now here the same thing we can use or we can capture this body element, and then if we do the logging, as you can see here, this will capture or print the window object, and then here we can get the size of the screen. So let's just log. So here you can see we have the updated size of the screen, which is the width of the screen. So as you can see, we can use that one. So maybe in our page, if body and width is less than or equal to 400, and let's set the body element. So query selector body, style the background set to red. So if we resize, so as you can see here, the color of the background color of the body is set to red. So if it hits 400 or below, it becomes red. Then else we can just use this line and set it back to white. So now reds, now it's white, red and white. So that's how you can add these events to our window. So the next type is the form events. This is for the form elements. So let's create first a form inside our HTML file. Then here we can add input. So let's just set type to text, and then let's add a placeholder. Maybe capture the first name of the user. And then here let's go to the bottom and type is submit. So here submit data. Let's refresh. So here we have the element, the input, and then the submit button. So here's different type of attributes we can use. The on change, so it fires when the value of the element is changed. So to implement that one, you can just write here on change, the same thing, on change, and then here trigger change. Let's create that function. So it does not really matter, so you can type your own function here, maybe element change. So we can just let's just refresh. So if we type, as you can see here, L change is not defined, so we need to define that one. Then here we type, as you can see, does not return the error. And then most of the time we need to capture the value of the input, so we can just type this. So this means we need to pass this element object into our function, and then here we can capture that one. So L, so if we console or log the L, as you can see here, it will return this element. So now we can do things like maybe we get the value. So to get that one, we can just use L.value, refresh. If we type, as you can see, UFE, or maybe we can update the height of the element. So here height, maybe width. Need to set or add a style first, and then the name of the style. So width, or maybe height. So as you can see, the styles are applied to the element. So for now, let's just log the event value, or I mean the element value. So EFE. So here we can also use this one, the on focus. So this will trigger once the element gets focused. So focus is if I click on this, that means the element is focused. Now maybe we want to add that one. So on focus. So element focus. So if we refresh and then focus, you can see it should return an error. It should return an error since we haven't defined this function. So let's define that, and then here we can use this one. So actually you don't need to set this in a function if you want to get this element. So you can just write inside the function this, and this will automatically capture the focused element. So in our case, this element. So if we focus, so it's the same thing. Let's capture the element, and then here console.log element focus. Let's just log this message and then refresh. As you can see here, we have the element focus. So if I click again, let's refresh, click. So now let's do the on submit. So when a form is submitted, so here this event, we can just use or set that one inside the form attribute. So here, so form submit, let's create this function, form submit make sure there's the function, and then if we, let's just save and refresh. So as you can see, so how do we know that this function is triggered? So the usual mechanism of form is if we submit this one, it should expect, or it reloads the page. So using the on submit, we can create or set the or remove that mechanism. So instead of refreshing the page, this one here, this will just freeze. So if I submit, So here, once we submit the form, maybe we'll alert the values. So here we can just get the value of the input. So let's just say we set an ID of this input. So first name. So here we can use document get element by ID. Alert, let's do alert the element or the value of the first name. As you can see, it's an input element, and reason is we need to add the value so we can get the actual value, not just the input element object. So if we submit, you can see EF. So basically that's the form events. So we also have keyboard events. So this is for keyboard. So if you type in a key in the keyboard, then this will return, or this attribute, we can use this one to capture the keys, or capture which key is clicked by the user. So we can add that one inside our body, or maybe an input. So in input you can use key down, so this will trigger or fires when the user is pressing a key. So key down function, it's named that one, and then here so let's lag and see if this work key is down. So as you can see here, it triggers the key down function. Well, so every time I type in a character, it triggers that function. So you can also capture the event. So it's undefined, but here I think we can capture the character that was pressed by the user. So let's just this, and then here I think we need to have the event. So actually we can't use the key down to capture which key is typed using this function. However, we can use the document that add event listener function. Then here we can use key down, so this will this will trigger, so every time this will watch for any keys that was pressed down or pressed down by the user. So here this should be an event. So if we console.log the if, so if I press, as you can see we have the keyboard event, and then here we can capture or get the key by using these properties if that key. So if I type a B C D E F G H, you can see it is triggered. So and my name, so as you can see we can get the name or the key that is clicked by the user. So also the same thing for key press. So since we have this one, we can just remove one key down, and this will work. So E F A. So the same thing with the on key press. So if a user presses the key in our keyboard, so if I press the backspace, so let's just use that one. So as you can see I press turns that event, so here as you can see I'm pressing the D. So let's just keys press lag that message. So as you can see keys pressed. So let's input the key, value of the key that was pressed. So if I space RF or caps lock, so I press that, and as you can see it returns the message and what key is pressed by the user. So the next is the mouse event. So I already discussed this one, so let's just use some of these attributes. So here on mouse down, so if the user or it fires when the mouse pointer is moving while it is over an element, or I'm sorry, this one, when the mouse button is pressed down on an element. So here let's just create a div, and then let's use an ID. Now let's directly style it. So with 500, height of 500, background green, then here if we refresh, so the with height, just do this one, px. So now we have the div. So let's do the click event. So on click, trigger click. Then here let's add that function. So once we click, maybe we change or maybe we alert dev is click. So if I click the green, or I click the outside box, so if it's inside, as you can see, it returns the div is click. Now once we press the same thing on press mouse down, I think that's the right attribute, it fires the event. So trigger mouse down. So again, you can use your own function name as long as it is readable or understandable. So mouse is down. So here mouse is down, mouse is down. Also we have the double click on mouse, on double, the real click to your double click. So can fresh function alert double click. So for now, let's just remove some of these, since this will have a conflict with the event or other event. So let's just remove this on click, mouse down. So for double click, as you can see, let's just use the close open, so double click, so it returns the message. So maybe here, once we double click, we change the color of the elements. So here let's pass the element to this function, then let's capture this one. So that style dot background will be set to pink. So if we double click, as you can see, it turns to pink. So basically that's it. So there are still different mouse events or HTML events that I did not discuss, but those are the commonly used events in JavaScript. So that's it. Thank you.